Hello, this is my first proper YouTube video, so to everyone who's new, that's literally everyone, welcome, I hope you enjoy! So, Art Fight is in less than 2 months, and a lot of artists, including me, are preparing for it. What is Art Fight, I hear you ask? Well, every year I get art mutuals asking me what Art Fight actually is, so I figured I would explain. Art Fight is an art trading game where two teams compete by drawing each other's OCs for points. The points don't actually do anything, they're just something to feel proud of, similar to likes on Instagram. But it's always fun to see which team wins. When you draw another person's character, that's called an attack, or if you're on the same team as them, it's called a friendly fire, which only earns 20% of the usual points. You can draw multiple characters in one drawing, even if they don't share an owner. These are called mass attacks. I've done a few smaller ones myself, but they're a lot of work and I prefer to do attacks of just 1 or 2 characters. I've also received some mass attacks as well with my characters alongside other people's characters. If someone else attacks you first, that's called a defense, or if they attack you after you've already attacked them, that's called a revenge. I don't generally do this, but if I do, I usually only go for 2 or 3 rounds. However, there is a statewide statistics board that's shared at the end of every event, and they'll usually have the 2 users with the longest revenge date on there, which is pretty cool. Attacks actually don't have to be drawings. You can cosplay, you can crochet, you can make anything. Most attacks you'll see on the site will be digital art, but all kinds of art is welcome. Things that aren't allowed would be things like pic crews or sims, basically things that aren't fully made by you. To upload your characters to the site, you can do it at any time of the year. You can click on the submit button at the top of the page and press character, and then you fill out their information and that's you. You can add other images to their profile later. To do that, you just select edit on their profile and then go to images. This will be my 5th year participating, and the last 3 years my team won. Last year's teams were Stardust and Seafoam. I was on Team Stardust. The themes are normally decided with a community vote. This year's vote is already over and the reveal will be sometime in June. Usually a week or so before the fight starts. I always watch their live stream on YouTube or Twitch. I remember one year they played the final countdown as the last song before the reveal and I couldn't stop laughing. That year they had a really good playlist, by the way. The amount of My Little Pony and Five Nights at Freddy's songs that were playing, my god, it was great. I recommend joining the stream. It's usually a lot of fun and I like the little animations they play before the reveal a lot. The person you attacked may attack you back, but no one is obligated to revenge. However, it's nice to do it. I generally do revenge everyone, although if this video does particularly well I may not be able to keep that promise. Hopefully I can, because I'd like to. Just be nice about it, don't beg for people to attack you, and don't attack purely so that you'll get a revenge, because that'll make the experience a lot less fun. Sometimes people don't have the time to revenge and they'll prioritise attacking you the next year instead. I've had people do that with me before. You also just might not have anything they want to draw, and that's okay. I do sometimes end up revenging people whose characters I'm not really interested in drawing because they're not something I typically draw. So it takes me longer to get around to them. What I recommend doing is uploading characters in multiple types. For example, I mostly draw humanoids, so I only really have humanoid OCs, but I do like attacking ponies as well, so I uploaded my Pony Sona KP. I did also have one of my main OCs, Mr. Donkey, up there, but because I've started a webcomic now with those characters, I'd rather not add him back until he appears in it. I don't have any furries because I don't like drawing them. The only time I'll do this is if someone who only has furry characters attacks me first. Because otherwise that doesn't feel, fair. I recommend commenting on people's attacks of your characters, even if you don't want to revenge them. It's nice to show you appreciate their work since they put in the time to make that for you. You should definitely read through people's character permissions and don't do anything that would make them uncomfortable, and obviously follow the site rules, but I think that's a given. Your profile is important for people who come across it to decide if they want to attack you or not. You don't have to make it look fancy or anything, but I think it's nice to put a profile card in there which shows off your characters and what you'll attack. There will be templates for this released near the start of the event. I make one every year. I also like putting in details about myself so that anyone viewing my profile gets to know a little bit about who they're attacking, such as my age, my pronouns, my interests, stuff like that. These are my characters. The starred ones are my main OCs for my upcoming webcomic The Best Friends, which is about the Man family and their closest friends, and how they navigate life. It's a slice of life sort of sitcom. I made it with my sister 9 years ago now, when we were kids. It originally started on YouTube actually. These 5 are the main members of the Man family: H, Carly, Pearl, Bob and Gidget. H, Carly and Pearl are siblings from the ages of 12 to 17, while Bob and Gidget are their parents in their late 30s, and they are my babies and I love them. The ones after them are my D&D characters, Vidania, Lyle, and Allison. Vidania was the first D&D character I ever made. She's an elf druid who lives in the forest with her buddy Kevin, who I might upload later. And we're finishing up the campaign she's in this year, but it's been going on since I was in high school. Lyle was originally randomly assigned to me as my one-shot character. I didn't like having them at first because they weren't a character I had full control over, but all I was given was their name, class, and species, so really I could do whatever I wanted with them, and now they're one of my favourite OCs. They're a silly little guy, and I love them. Alison's a character I haven't used yet, but she's in a campaign run by my best friend, and she's heavily inspired by Alice in Wonderland, if you can already tell from her name and appearance. She's a tiefling sorceress and she studies magic in the library all the time. My best friend made a librarian character named Hallie to be Alison's best friend, and I think they're adorable. I should really draw them together sometime. The final character is my pony Sona KP. She's the character I named myself after. I made her specifically for this channel, but I don't use her that much anymore, which is kind of sad, but I like drawing ponies and I wanted to have a pony character on my profile so that people could attack her. These are my battle statistics. They show your statistics in the fight, so like how many attacks you've done, how many defenses you've gotten, and any achievements you've earned. So like you'll have your battle ratio, which just shows how many, like the percentage of attacks that you've done compared to how many defenses that you've done. So I have a 55% battle ratio because I've done more attacks than I've received. These are the characters I have bookmarked, so like they're the ones I have saved to potentially attack at some point during the event. They recently added a folders feature, which I haven't used yet, but I have prepared a folder for people I need to revenge just so that it's easier to sort through, although what I used to do was just number them really high so they'd be at the top of my list. For everyone else, I number them alphabetically by artist, so if your username starts with not a letter, then you'll be 0. If you start with A, you'll be 1, B will be 2, etc. I find that to be a really easy way to sort through bookmarks, and that way, if you have multiple characters from one artist bookmarked, you'll be able to find them no problem because they'll be right next to each other instead of randomly sorted. I recommend doing that, please do that. These are some of my old attacks. I usually format them in a specific way, so like I would have like a grey background and then like a colour indicating what team they're on. I've changed how that looks every single year. But I feel like over time they've become less and less themed, if that makes sense. This year I think I'm just gonna put a little triangle thing in the corner indicating what team the person I'm attacking is on, rather than making the whole background themed, because I think the way I've been doing it up until now makes my attacks look a bit boring, and I want to branch out a bit more. Other people don't normally do this is just a me thing. These are defenses I've received. I love them all so much. This is my favourite part of the fight, and aside from the ones I already attacked first, I revenged every single one of these. A lot of these feature characters that aren't public on the website this year. That's because I wanted to remove any characters who haven't appeared in any drawn pages of my webcomic yet to avoid any potential spoilers. And because some of them I realised I didn't want any attacks of because I don't care about them enough for them to be overtaking my main OCs, if that makes sense. So like, I have OCs that I haven't developed very much, or I have redesigns of characters from fandoms that I'm in, and I don't really, and I don't know, I originally thought I wanted people to attack those, but I realised I don't. Now that my character count has gone down so much, it's a much easier and simpler selection. I love the wide range of artists you'll see on this site, it's great. I feel like now I should discuss the pros and cons of Artfight. Cons first, last year there was a lot of drama on social media which was making artists on the site scared of what would happen to their characters and turned away new artists who otherwise would have joined. Basically there was a lot of people making a big deal about mass attacks and how they were just point farming, which honestly I don't think is a big deal. Like they still put in the effort to draw people's characters, and it's against the rules to make attacks such low effort for the purpose of point farming. So like people were worried that their characters would be unrecognisable blobs of colour or something like that, when that type of extremely low effort attack isn't allowed, so that's really not an issue. There was also a lot of people talking about their OCs getting whitewashed or being made skinny and stuff like that, which obviously isn't good. That shouldn't have been happening, but I think that issue was also blown up way too much because most of the people I saw talking about it were just bringing up points made by other people, not from personal experience, particularly artists who hadn't joined the event yet. They were the ones I heard talking about it the most because they were scared that would happen to them, which is completely understandable, by the way. I would hate for people to misrepresent my OCs like that, but I think it was talked about on a much larger scale than it was actually happening. In my 4 years of Artfight, I've never run into this issue before from anyone, and I've not heard about any of my friends mention having this issue either, unless they just didn't talk about it. I think if you're worried about this kind of thing, that's okay, but at the end of the day, that's just what happens. There's going to be bad apples in every single space, unfortunately. What you can do is block and report, and the art fight mods will likely handle it. I've thankfully never had to contact them, but I hear they're pretty good with that kind of stuff. There was also in 2023 a money laundering scandal that went on with the owner of the website, but literally during that event she stepped down and 2 other people took over. The team was urging people to continue to attacking each other's characters, but to not pay a single penny to the site. And honestly, I think despite the chaos, they handled it the best way they could. I'm glad the owner stepped down and got replaced. Now this isn't an issue, so don't worry about that at all. The pros of art fight are pretty obvious, I'd say. You get to draw other people's characters and make them happy, which is so fun. I love that part of the fight, and you also get to receive art of your own characters, which is amazing. And it's like your own special fan art for your own little pretend fandom. It's great. I really recommend making an account if you haven't already. It's also a good place to find new art mutuals. I found a few through there over the years. Also, I rarely, if ever, draw art of any of my mutuals OCs outside of commissions, so I use art fight as an opportunity to do that. Sometimes I'll do a revenge chain with them if I can be bothered. Usually if I have more than one of their characters bookmarked already, like I said earlier, I'll normally do 2 or 3 things in the chain if I'm doing a revenge chain, or if they attack me multiple times first. I think it's a good way to practice drawing and to get out of your comfort zone. I draw more during art fight than I do any other month, and I usually end up drawing things that I wouldn't otherwise, like furries. So even if it doesn't turn out amazing, I get to be proud of myself and go, wow, I did that. And then I get to make someone else happy because that's their OC, that's their baby. Isn't that nice? And I really love art fight. For me, I normally start preparing anytime during the first half of the year. This year I started preparing at the end of April, but I don't usually get most things done until the last 2 weeks because such is the way of the artist. What's nice though is that you can make an account at literally any time. So my first year I joined on the 4th of July, so 4 days into that year's event. I was grinding very hard. I uploaded 50 characters all in 2 days and then did a bunch of attacks. I don't recommend uploading that many, at least not that fast, but you can definitely join late, which is something I always get people asking me about. So they would say to me multiple days into the event, oh, I wish I could have joined, but it's too late now. The event's already started. You can do that. You can join. Feel free. I will say the first few days the site is really slow because it's not used to having that much traffic. So I recommend saving some reference sheets and character IDs before the event starts so you can start working right away. Otherwise you will be struggling. I always get myself frustrated because I didn't save enough reference sheets and I can never upload any of my attacks on the first day, so yeah, prepare for that please. In the background of this video, I'm making my own ref sheets for my main comic characters. I didn't make these specifically for art fight, but thank goodness I made updated sheets. Now I have something for the site. My other ones were set at the very end of the comic story, so I can't really use those anymore. Your reference sheet doesn't have to be detailed though. You can literally just draw your character with flat colours and call it a day. That's fine. And some people don't even do that. What I normally do before an event starts is I go into the Art Fight Discord and I fill out a bunch of people's hit lists, which are usually shared in the advertisement channel or target hunting. But I think they closed that channel last season because they don't currently have it. Sometimes people will pick you, other times they won't, just depends if they vibe with your art or not, which is why I fill out a lot. I think 5 people attacked me from a hit list last year. I don't personally have one since revenges are my hit list, but if you have one yourself, feel free to put it in the comments and people can fill them out there. I might pin a comment for you to put them under, who knows. If you want an easy way to find people to attack where you get to completely pick by yourself, then I recommend using the random user or random character options at the top of the page. I did that last year and I found a bunch of people I otherwise wouldn't have come across, and I just picked the ones whose art I liked the most really and wanted to attack. I think that's all I have to say about art fight. I think I've covered everything. I might make another video about art fight another time, I don't know. Let me know if that's something you'd want. I hope you liked this video. As I said, this is my first proper video. I usually just upload speed paints and all my old videos are full videos, so this is brand new to me. Let me know what you think I should improve on, and if you have anything else to add about art fight, then leave that down below. Also comment your username and I might check out your page. Goodbye for now.